All right, today we are jumping into Genesis chapter 44, which is such a key moment in the story of Joseph. And really, this isn't just some old story. It's a high-stakes psychological thriller, a carefully crafted test where an entire family's future is just hanging by a thread.
And it all boils down to this one really baffling question. Why on earth would Joseph, who's now the second most powerful man in all of Egypt, cook up this seemingly cruel plan to frame his own youngest brother? Well, to figure that out, we have to see how he sets the whole thing up.
So, it all kicks off with Joseph putting a very specific and, let's be honest, a very strange plan into motion. He tells his steward to do two things. First, he says, fill up his brother's sacks with all the grain they can carry and, just like he did last time, secretly put their payment money back in. But then comes the twist. He says, take my personal silver cup, a super valuable item, and hide it deep inside the sack of the youngest brother, Benjamin. This is not a random act, oh no. This is a precision-targeted move. So you can just picture it, right? The sun comes up and the brothers head out of the city. They must be feeling so relieved. They've got their food, they have Benjamin back safe and sound, and they're probably thinking, phew, our troubles are finally over. They have absolutely no idea what's about to hit them. But of course, Joseph doesn't let them get too far. The trap is about to be sprung. And the timing here is it's key to the whole drama. They've barely even left the city limits when Joseph's steward comes riding up, hard and fast. He stops them right there on the road and hits them with a shocking accusation. The steward accuses them of repaying Joseph's generosity by stealing from him. And the brothers' reaction, this is so important. They are so offended, so certain of their innocence, that they make this reckless vow. They say, look, if you find that cup on any of us, let that man die, and the rest of us will become your lord's slaves for life. They are just walking right into the trap. So the steward agrees to their terms, but he softens them just a little bit. He says only the guilty one will become a slave. And then the search begins. And he's doing this deliberately, methodically. He starts with the oldest, Reuben, and works his way down. And with every sack he opens that's empty, the brothers' confidence is probably growing, but so is the tension.
And then he gets to the last one, Benjamin's sack. And there it is, the cup. The trap has just snapped shut.
Their reaction is just immediate and raw. They tear their clothes. Now, you gotta understand, in their culture, this was a profound sign of horror and grief. This isn't just about getting caught. It's that sudden crushing weight of their fate. They know what this means for Benjamin, and maybe even more importantly, what it's going to do to their father. So they load up their donkeys and head right back to the city. And what happens when they get back to Joseph's house? Well, this is the emotional core of the entire story. The spotlight shifts completely onto one brother in particular, Judah. Joseph lays down his verdict, and on the surface, it almost sounds merciful. He says, look, I'm not going to enslave all of you. Only the man we found the cup with, Benjamin, he'll be my servant. The rest of you, you're free. Go home in peace. But this is the cruelest part of the test. He's giving them the exact same choice they faced years ago with him. Abandon a brother to save yourselves. But this time, they don't take the easy way out. Judah steps forward and begins what is honestly one of the most powerful speeches in the entire Bible. He tries to explain the situation, this unique bond between his father Jacob and Benjamin, saying that his father's very life is bound up in the boy's life. Judah retells the whole story of the promise they made to their father. He reminds this powerful Egyptian ruler, who, remember, he still has no clue is his brother, of what their father said would happen if Benjamin didn't return. He said the grief would literally send him to his grave. And for Judah, this is deeply personal. He reveals that he was the one who personally guaranteed Benjamin's safety. He put himself on the line. He made a vow to his father, saying, I will bear the blame forever if I don't bring him back to you. And all of this builds to this incredible turning point. Judah offers himself in Benjamin's place. Please, he begs, let me stay as your slave, and let the boy go home. He offers to substitute his own life, his own freedom for his brother's. Judah's plea just changes everything. And with that one act, we finally understand the real reason for Joseph's elaborate and pretty painful test. I mean, just look at this contrast. It shows the transformation perfectly. This is the same Judah, the very same guy, who years ago saw his brother Joseph trapped in a pit and came up with the bright idea, hey, let's just sell him for some silver. Now, that same man is offering his own freedom for the rest of his life to save another brother. So why did Joseph do all this? Well, it was never about revenge. It was a test. It was to see if his brothers had truly, genuinely changed. Would they abandon Rachel's other son, Benjamin, the same way they had abandoned him? Judah's plea proved that they wouldn't. It showed his complete redemption, it paved the way for the family to finally reunite, and it introduced this powerful theme of substitution, one person taking the punishment for another. This act of selfless love was the answer. It was all the proof Joseph had been waiting for. It showed that real repentance had taken place, that his family was actually capable of healing, and that he could finally, at long last, reveal who he really was. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Joseph designed this elaborate test to see what was truly in his brothers' hearts when everything was on the line. It really makes you wonder, in our own lives, what are the tests that reveal our true character?